I want to tell you about a man named Danny, 29 years old, 240 pounds, the kind of guy who'd quietly become invisible. One ordinary Tuesday, he walks into a gym for the first time in his life, scared, out of breath, dropping weights in front of everyone. And a woman he's never met slips her phone number into his gym bag while he isn't looking. With a note, it said, "I thought you were braver." You'll think you know where this goes. You don't, because Danny got everything he ever wished for, and it cost him the one thing he didn't know he had. Let him tell you himself.
You want to know the truth? I finally looked the way I always wanted to look. Flat stomach, arms that fill out a shirt. People hold the door a little longer now. Women look twice. And I would give every single pound of it back. All of it. Just to be the fat, scared guy standing in the corner of that gym one more time. Because that guy still had her. Let me back up. I'm getting ahead of myself. I do that. My name's Danny Vaughn. I'm 29, I live in Columbus, Ohio, and for the last 6 years I've worked a desk processing auto insurance claims for a regional outfit off Morse Road. You wouldn't know the name. Nobody does. It's the kind of job where you sit in a gray chair under gray lights and you read about other people's bad days for 8 hours, and then you go home. It's exactly as glamorous as it sounds. And I let myself go. That's the honest word for it. I let myself go. I wasn't always big. In high school, I was just a normal, doughy kid, nothing special. But you sit at a desk for 6 years and you eat lunch out of a vending machine and dinner's whatever's fastest on the drive home, and the weight it comes on so slow you don't even notice. You don't wake up one day fat. You wake up 1,000 days a little worse, and then one morning you're standing in the shower and you look down and you can't really see your own feet anymore, and you go, oh, when did that happen? 240 pounds, 5'11". I carried most of it right here, around the middle, these soft love handles that spilled over my belt no matter what I wore. I stopped tucking in shirts. I stopped taking photos. There's like a 2-year stretch of my life where I basically don't exist in any picture because I'd always be the one holding the camera. I told myself I was fine with it. I wasn't fine with it. The day I decided to change wasn't dramatic. I wish I had a better story. There was no doctor wagging a finger, no girl breaking my heart. I was just tying my shoes one morning, and I was out of breath. From tying my shoes. Sitting on the edge of my bed, and my heart was going, and I couldn't get a full breath, and I thought, I'm 29. I'm 29 years old, and I'm winded from putting on shoes. And something in me just went quiet and cold and said, no more. That's it. No more. So I signed up at this gym. Nothing fancy. One of those big box places. $20 a month, open 24 hours, half the equipment held together with duct tape. And here's the thing that mattered. I didn't get a trainer. Couldn't afford one, and honestly, I was too embarrassed. The idea of some ripped 22-year-old watching me struggle to do one push-up? No thank you. So I did what everybody in my generation does. I learned from YouTube. I'd watch these videos at night. Beginner full body, how to lose belly fat, guys with perfect lighting and perfect abs telling me it's simple, it's just discipline. Nothing about it felt simple. My first day. I picked a Tuesday, middle of the week, figured it'd be less crowded. I wore the baggiest black t-shirt I owned because black hides everything, right? And these gym shorts I'd bought online that were already too tight. And I stood in the parking lot in my car for, I'm not exaggerating, 20 minutes. Just sitting there, watching people walk in with their gym bags and their protein shakes like they belonged there, and telling myself I'd go in a minute. In a minute. I almost drove home. I want you to understand how close I came to just driving home and ordering a pizza and letting that be the rest of my life. But I went in, and it was every bit as bad as I was afraid it'd be.
I got on a treadmill because that felt safe. That felt like something I couldn't mess up. And I lasted maybe 8 minutes before my lungs were on fire and my shirt was soaked through, and I had to hold onto the rails like an old man. I could feel it. that heat in your face when you're sure everybody's looking at you. The fat guy who clearly doesn't know what he's doing. I moved over to the weights because the YouTube video said to, and I picked up these dumbbells, and I genuinely did not know what to do with them. I was watching other people out of the corner of my eye, trying to copy them, and I dropped one, and it made this huge crash, and I wanted to die. I actually wanted to disappear into the floor. And that's when I noticed her. She was over by the cable machines, about my age, maybe a year or two younger. Dark hair pulled back tight, this athletic build, not fitness model fake, just strong, like someone who actually used her body for a living. And she was looking at me. Not laughing. Not the way I was terrified everyone was laughing. Just looking. Steady. And when I caught her eye, I did what I always did. I looked away fast, face burning. Figured she was thinking, what a mess. What's he even doing here? But it kept happening. All through that miserable, sweaty, humiliating hour, I'd feel it, and I'd glance up, and there she'd be. Our eyes kept finding each other across that gym, and I swear, one time, the corner of her mouth went up, just a little, like something private, like we were in on some joke I didn't understand yet. And did I go talk to her? Did I walk over there like a man and say hi? Of course not. Are you kidding me? I was 240 pounds, and I'd just dropped a dumbbell in front of God and everybody. I finished my little pathetic workout. I grabbed my bag, and I speed walked to my car with my head down, already composing the text to myself that said, "You don't have to go back. You tried. That's enough." I drove home. I told myself I'd probably never see her again, and that it was fine, and that women like that don't look at guys like me. Not really. I must have imagined it. I got home. I peeled off that soaked black shirt, and I opened my gym bag to throw everything in the wash. And there was a piece of paper in there, folded up, tucked into the side pocket, the one I never use. I stood there in my kitchen holding it, and my hands were actually shaking a little, because I knew I didn't put it there. Someone put it there. Someone reached into my bag while I wasn't looking, and I unfolded it, and there was a phone number, a real 10-digit number in blue ink, and above it, in this fast, slanted handwriting, it said,
I thought you were braver, but you get a second chance. Call me. I read it about 40 times. I sat down on my kitchen floor. I don't know why the floor, I just sort of slid down the cabinet, and I read it over and over. I thought you were braver. Like she'd been waiting. Like she'd expected me to walk over there, and I hadn't. And instead of writing me off, she'd done this. Reached into a stranger's bag and left the door open on purpose. And of course my brain immediately went to the worst places, right? Is this a prank? Is this one of those things where I call and it's a bunch of gym bros laughing? Is she messing with the fat guy? Because that's where 6 years of hating my own reflection takes you. You can't even accept a good thing without checking it for teeth. I didn't call that night. I couldn't. I put the note on my nightstand, and I lay there in the dark, looking at it like it might change its mind. The next morning, before work, sitting in my car in the office parking lot, because apparently my whole life happens in parking lots, I called. 2 rings, and this voice picks up. Warm, a little amused, like she already knew it was me, and she goes, "Well, took you long enough." Her name was Camille Ortega, and she was an ER nurse over at Riverside, Worked these brutal 12-hour shifts 3-4 days a week, patching up the worst nights of strangers' lives. Which explained the build, and it explained something else too, something I didn't understand until much later. We talked for 45 minutes in that parking lot. I was late for work. I did not care. She was so easy to talk to. Sharp, funny. She'd say something a little mean and then laugh so you knew it was affection. And finally, I just had to ask her. I said, "Camille, why me? Honestly, why'd you put your number in my bag?" And she got quiet for a second.
And then she said, and I remember this exactly. I'll remember it till I die. She said, "Because I watched you sit in your car for 20 minutes before you came in. I was stretching by the window, and I watched you almost leave like 3 times. And then you didn't. You came in anyway, and you were terrible at everything. No offense. And you looked miserable the whole time, and you stayed. Do you know how rare that is? Most people wait until they're already in shape to show up. You showed up broken. That's the bravest thing I've seen in months." Nobody had ever said anything like that to me. Nobody. I'd spent my whole life being invisible, and this woman had looked at me at my absolute lowest, sweating, dropping weights, hiding in black, and she saw somebody worth reaching into a bag for. That was the beginning. And for a while, for a good long while, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. We started slow.
Coffee first, because our schedules were a nightmare. Then she started showing up at the gym on my days and, okay, this is going to sound stupid, she became my trainer, unofficially. She'd stand behind me and fix my form and call me an idiot when I rounded my back, and she taught me how to actually eat, meal prep, all of it, real stuff, not YouTube stuff. And the weight started coming off, slow at first, then faster. But honestly, the workouts were just an excuse. The real thing was after. Sitting in her little apartment with the string lights, her still in her scrubs, me still sweaty, both of us laughing about nothing. That was the real gym. That was where I actually got strong. There was this one night, early on. It was pouring rain, one of those Ohio thunderstorms that comes out of nowhere in June, and her shift got canceled, and mine was already over. And we ended up on the floor of her apartment eating cold leftover Thai food straight out of the containers because neither of us wanted to get up and get plates. And she was telling me about this patient she'd lost that week, some old man who came in alone, no family. And she held his hand while he went because there was nobody else to do it. And she wasn't crying, exactly. She was just telling me in this flat, quiet voice, like she needed to set it down somewhere. And I didn't say anything smart. I didn't try to fix it. I just moved over and let her lean on me. And we sat there listening to the rain. And at some point she said, real small, "This is nice. You're easy to be sad around." And I swear to you, at 200 and something pounds, sitting on a linoleum floor with Thai food on my shirt, that was the happiest I have ever been in my entire life. I didn't know it yet. You never know it yet. That's the cruel part. You're standing right in the middle of the best moment of your life, and it just feels like Tuesday. I fell for her so hard and so fast it scared me. And I really believe she fell for me too. Not the future me, the current me, the soft, unfinished, scared me. She used to put her hand right here on my stomach, the part I hated most, and she'd say, "Don't you dare rush this. I like you now. I liked you at 240. Don't disappear on me. Don't disappear on me." She said that more than once, like a warning, like she already knew something I didn't, and I should have listened. God, I should have listened. Because here's what happened. Here's the part I'm not proud of.
Here's the part that's the whole reason I'm telling you this. The weight came off. All of it, and then some. Over about 10 months, I went from 240 to 175. I'm just going to say it, I got good looking. For the first time in my life. I'd catch myself in the mirror and not flinch. And then other people started noticing. At work, at the gym, women specifically, who 6 months earlier would have looked straight through me, were suddenly finding reasons to talk to me, laughing at my jokes, touching my arm. And I want to describe to you exactly what that does to a person who's been starving for it his whole life. It's a drug. That's the only way I can put it. That attention, after 29 years of being invisible, it hit my bloodstream like a drug, and I got hooked. And I got hooked fast. I started changing. Not overnight. That's the awful part. It's never overnight. So you never catch yourself doing it.
I started dressing tighter, showing it off. I started staying later at the gym, not to train, but to be seen. I got cocky. I tell stories about my transformation to anyone who'd listen, like I'd invented discipline, like I'd done it all myself. I stopped mentioning Camille in those stories. I don't even think I noticed I was doing it. I just edited her out. And I started to resent her a little. Isn't that sick? The woman who reached into my bag when nobody else on earth would have. I started to feel like she was holding me back because she knew me when. She knew the fat guy. And this new me, this guy who turned heads, part of me wanted to leave that fat guy behind completely, and she was the last person who remembered him. When I was with her, I couldn't fully be the new me. She kept looking at me like she was waiting for someone to come back. I'll give you the exact moment I should have seen it.
There was this work party, some end of quarter thing at a bar downtown, and I brought Camille, and for the first time she got to see the new me out in the wild, the version everybody at the office had been talking about. And I spent the whole night working the room, buying rounds, telling my transformation story to a circle of people, flexing without flexing, you know the type. I'd become the type. And at one point I looked over, and Camille was just sitting alone at the end of the bar, nursing a club soda because she had a shift the next morning, watching me perform. Not mad, just watching. Like a nurse watching a monitor. And instead of going over to her, instead of pulling her into it, I felt this flash of embarrassment. Of her, sitting there in her sensible clothes, not drinking, not impressed, like she was a reminder I didn't want in the room. I'm ashamed of that flash to this day. I actually felt embarrassed of the only person there who knew who I really was. And I stayed on the other side of that bar the whole night. She drove herself home. That was the beginning of the end, and I toasted right through it. We started fighting. Little things. I'd cancel on her. Some coworker was having drinks. Some new group I wanted to impress. She'd call me out, gently at first, then not so gently. She'd say, "You're becoming someone I don't recognize." And I actually said this to her. I actually said, "Maybe I outgrew who I was. Maybe you just liked me better when I needed you." The look on her face when I said that. There was this one night. This is the one I replay the most. There was a girl at the gym, younger, one of the regulars who'd started flirting with me. And Camille came to pick me up, and she saw the tail end of it. Me leaning on the counter, grinning, eating it up. And she didn't make a scene. That wasn't her. She just waited in the car. When I got in, all cocky, she was quiet for a long time. And then she said, real soft, "I need you to hear me. I didn't fall for the guy in the mirror. I fell for the guy in the parking lot who almost drove home and didn't. I've been waiting 10 months for you to keep being brave. But being brave when you're scared and fat and invisible, that's different from being brave when everyone's finally looking at you. And you're not passing this one, Danny. And I got defensive. Of course I did. I said something cutting. I said she was jealous, that she couldn't handle me becoming successful, that not everything was about her. I said the fat guy she missed so much was gone, and he wasn't coming back, and maybe she should get used to that. She just nodded, slow, like something she'd suspected was finally confirmed. She dropped me at my place, and she didn't come up. And I remember actually thinking, walking up to my door, she'll cool off. She always cools off. She reached into my bag once, right? She'll come back. Women like Camille don't just walk away from a guy who looks like I look now. That's what the attention had done to me. That's who I'd become. A guy who thought he was too good now to be left. She didn't call the next day, or the day after. I gave it a week, playing it cool, telling myself I was giving her space. And then I broke, and I called her. Straight to voicemail. Texted. Nothing. I drove to the gym on her days, and she wasn't there. She'd switched her shifts, or her gym, or both. She was just gone. She'd erased herself from my life as cleanly as I'd erased her from my stories. And that's when it started to actually hit me. Slowly, the way the weight came on. 1,000 small moments of realizing what I'd thrown away. I'd reach for my phone to tell her something funny, and remember. I'd finish a good workout and have no one who understood what it meant. Turns out being seen by everyone is nothing. It's nothing. Next to being seen by one person who reached into your bag when you were at your worst. I saw her one more time, about 2 months later, at a grocery store, of all places. Fluorescent lights, a cart between us. And she looked good. She looked happy, actually, which somehow made it worse. And I froze up, and I said her name, and she turned, and there was this moment where I thought maybe, and she smiled at me, kind, not cold. That was almost the hardest part, that she wasn't even angry anymore. And she said, "Hey, Danny, you look great." Like a stranger, like a nice, distant stranger. And I started to say something. I don't even know what, some pathetic opening, some door I was trying to pry back open. And she just gave this small shake of her head. And she said, quiet, almost to herself, "I really did think you were braver." Same words, the exact words from the note, the words that started the whole thing. I thought you were braver. Except that time, there was a second chance written under it. This time, there was nothing under it. This time, it was just the truth, said out loud. And then she pushed her cart on past me and down the aisle, and she was gone. So, yeah, that's the story. I got the body. I got the second glances, the held doors, the whole thing I sat in that parking lot dreaming about. I look in the mirror now, and there's no soft stomach, no love handles, no fat guy hiding in a black shirt. He's gone. I killed him. I worked so hard to kill him. and I'd give anything to have him back. Because he was scared, and he was invisible, and he almost drove home. But he stayed. He was brave.
And a woman looked across a crowded room and saw exactly that in him, and loved him for it, before he had a single thing worth showing off. The weight was never the problem. I know that now. The weight was never the problem. The problem was the guy underneath it, the one I only met after all the padding came off. And it turns out he wasn't brave at all. He just hadn't been tested yet. I still go to that gym, same one, $20 a month, duct tape and all. And every time I walk in, I look over at the cable machines. Force of habit. She's never there. But I look anyway. I guess part of me's still waiting for someone to think I'm braver than I am. I'm not, though. That's the whole thing, isn't it? I'm not.